Hello everyone, this is Miss Nina from Mansfield Public Library, and I'm here today to show you a craft. We're going to start with a snowflake craft where you'll be making snowflakes that look like this, or little ones like that. So I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to start with one of these sheets, which will be in your kit. We're going to fold it in half like this, putting the points together, and try to be as exact as you can and press the crease really hard with your fingers. Then you're going to put those 2 points together and press really hard with your fingers. So you'll end up with one side, the long side has all the edges, this side is a fold, and this side has 2 edges. So just to review, you start with the square, you fold it in half, point to point, so you end up with a big triangle, and then you fold it in half again, and you end up with a triangle. You are going to get a piece of paper that has a couple marks on it, and the marks will look kind of like this. Can you see those 4 marks? You're going to hold up your triangle, the long end, here, and you're going to put a mark where each of those marks are. That's going to help you fold it in the right spot, okay? And if you want, you can take a ruler. I don't have one here to show you. I'll use something else. I'll use this wax paper box. If you want, you can take a ruler to go from the point to the little mark and draw a line. I'll see if I can do it kind of with this. Sort of like that. That's the best I can do with a wax paper box. I don't usually draw those lines. I just have the points. Then I flip it over, and what I'm going to be doing is folding it into thirds. And I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to look for that little mark. You see it that I had made? That little mark. And I'm going to want to fold right from the point. You have to try to be really careful to that little mark. Okay, and then I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm looking for that little mark, and I'm going to be folding from the point across. And you end up in thirds. So you can see that the folds end up right near where the little marks are, and you end up with thirds. Okay, so you started out with the square. Whoop. Let's see if I can do it. Fold in half again, then you put your little marks on it, and you fold it in thirds where those little marks are. Then you're going to take your scissors, and you can cut this part off. Okay, so you have like a little ice cream cone, bottom of an ice cream cone. Okay, then you're going to make cuts in it really any place you want. You can make it up as you go along. Bear with me, I'm going to put on my glasses for a second so I can see what I'm doing. You're going to put little cuts in it any way you want. The important thing is just that you need to leave some part of it holding it together. Now you can see here I didn't fold quite exactly. I usually am better than that because there's little space between those two. But that was the best I did in a hurry. So you can put all kinds of cuts in it. You can have some go all the way across, almost. You can have some curve. And when you get to the point together, after you do each side, you just pull it right off. Okay? You can even do a little something on the edge up here if you want. I think I'm gonna do a little something. Now, if you want to practice this on just a plain white paper first, so that you can experiment a little and not use up the shiny paper, that might be a good thing to do. And you can do that. You can just cut a piece of white paper to be the same size as the silver paper. Let's see. I'm going to try and make this sort of a little bit of a rounded shape just to show you. That you can do rounder shapes. And then I'll do okay, I think I've cut enough on this one. Now we're going to open it up. So you are just totally unfolding it. And let's see if I can get it open. Opening it up like that. If I put it on, let me see if I put it on white paper, if you can see the contrast better. Can you see the shapes better on that? Actually, it looks really pretty if you put it on like a dark colored piece of paper, and then the shapes show up really well. So that's how you make it. Now, you got some big squares like this, but I also gave you some little squares to do some little snowflakes. So the little squares, I hadn't cut mine ahead of time, so I'll cut one real quick. The little squares are 1/4 of the big squares. I folded it in half and then in half again, and I'm just going to cut out my little square so that I can just show you once more how to do the snowflakes. And if you have to watch this through a couple times, that's fine. So we're going to do the snowflake. We're going to clear out my mess. We're going to fold it in point to point here in half and make a triangle, same as we did with the big one. We'll do it point to point again for another triangle. And then we're going to do it in thirds. Now, I hadn't put marks on my paper for the little one. I'll have to add that for you. So I'm just going to do it kind of by eyeballing it. Let's see how successful I am at that. Usually I can do it pretty well. Whoop! It's popping up on me. Well, I'm a little off. I need this one to be just a little bit bigger. So I'll try to put the marks on your paper for not only for the big one, but for the little one. And just to remind you, what we had done with the big one is we had gotten it like this size, and we had held it up to put marks for folding it into thirds. So I'll give you marks for the small one as well. That'll be in your packet. Okay, so there we go. And if you remember last time what we did, we cut off the top. So it's like a little ice cream cone. And we just started snipping away. I'm going to do something at the very top to give it a little bit of a different shape around the edges. And then obviously, because this is smaller, you have to do smaller cuts. I'm using this really little knife, scissors, because I find it easier, but you can use any kind of scissors that you have. And again, you just have to make sure that somewhere on it you have a spot that's holding it together. Like on here, the parts that are holding it together are here, here, and here. And I can even do a snip on this side as long as I don't cut all the way through, because you want it to hold together. So that's what I have. Let's see how it turns out. We're going to unfold it. I'll bring my white piece of paper back so you can see. We're going to unfold it and unfold it. And sticking. Here we go, again and again and again. And that's my snowflake. So I now have made a little one and a big one. So that's how you're going to be doing it. You can watch it as many times as you need to get a hang of the process. The folding it in thirds is probably the hardest part. Next, we're going to do something that's a little different. I'm going to show you this. You're going to get some, sorry, the clock's going off. You're going to get some coffee filters that look like this, and when we're done with them, they will be flat like this, and they will be colored like this. I'm going to show you how to do this in a moment. And then we are going to end up making a snowflake out of this as well. So I'm going to get out some paper towel because it's a little messy. I don't want to get my library table dirty. And actually, I like to put down, that's why I had the wax paper here, a piece of wax paper, or could be aluminum foil. I try to put down something that's not going to soak up all the color that I'm going to be putting on it. So we have two ways of adding color. One way is to take our coffee filter and using using washable markers to put lots and lots of color on it. I'm only going to do it in part of this because I don't want it to take all of our time. But you put like lots and lots of colors. I'm choosing just to put lots of different polka dots. And you'll see what happens with this when we do a little more. I'm just doing different colors. Whoop. I had a different color pink in here somewhere, a different color purple. Now, that's supposed to be a lot lighter than the other one. Doesn't look that much lighter. This cap made me think it was going to be real light, but it's not. Let's see what else I have. Okay, now if I was going to do this for real, I would do things all over the whole coffee filter, and it wouldn't have to be polka dots. You could do anything you want. You could do shapes like this. And let's see what happens. We are going to take a little thing of water. That I didn't give you, but I'm hoping you have water at home. And you're going to take this, which is called a pipette, and we're going to be using this today. The way this works is when you want to fill it with the liquid, you hold this part closed, this little bubble at the top. You hold it closed, put it in the water, and then let go, and it fills up with water. Can you see that? So, again, I'll show you. You squeeze it closed, put it in the water, and let go, and it fills up with water. It's filled up to like there, okay? And then we're going to put drops of water on the part where we colored, okay? And we're going to see slowly what happens. This is washable marker, so it's going to start to change when the water hits it. You can see how it's changing. And I'm just putting, you know, dots of water in different spots to get the color to bleed out a little bit. Okay? You can always, if you want, soak up a little extra water if you feel like it's getting all in one spot. So if I had done these colors over the whole thing, then the whole thing would look just like this part looks. And let me put a dot there, and it would spread. And then I would wait for it to dry. Takes a little while, not too long, because this paper is pretty thin. I'd leave it right on here and wait for it to dry. You don't want to put too much different color and too much water, because you know when you put like all the colors together and the water, you can end up sort of with yucky brown. But this is one way to do it, and you can try that at home. There's another way to do it that I'm going to show you. Let me move that out of the way. You are going to be getting some little lids like this that are going to, hold on, let me get a new one of these. You're going to be getting some little lids like this that are going to have some watercolor paint in them. So they'll look kind of like that. Okay. I'm going to put a new one of these down. Okay. And I have another plain one of these. And you'll notice these have all the crinkles around the edges, but when it's done drying, those go away. Okay, so this is the other way we're going to make colors. You're going to get some little caps like this with watercolor paint in them. And again, I'm going to get some water in my pipette. So I'm going to squeeze the bulb. Whoops, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to squeeze the bulb of it, the top, put it in the water, let go, and let it fill up with water. Then I'm going to add some of that water to the watercolor. Not a ton of water, maybe just up to the rim of that inside circle, because you don't want to water down the color too much. Now somewhere here I have a little spoon, and I'm going to try and stir that up a little bit to get loose in that paint, because it'll be a little dried by the time it gets to you. Loosen that paint up. See how it's getting darker and darker? See how it's getting darker and darker? And then I'm going to empty this from the water, put it in, squeeze the bulb, put it in the purple, and let go so it gets some purple into it. And I'm just gonna drop it, drop by drop, in different spots on here. And it can run in different directions. That's fine. Oops. And I can do it in some more places. Remember, squeeze the bulb, put it in the paint, let go, and some of it will go up into your pipette. Okay, now I went in and out a little with water to clean it out a little, because we are going to add another color. Now, you're going to laugh, because I already used this little lid that the paint is in for some blue paint, and what I put in it was some yellow. So we'll have to see how it comes out. I'm putting in enough water to just loosen up the paint a bit. Let's see what happens. I'm going to wipe off my spoon. And I think I was a little stingy with the yellow, so I might add a little more. This is how the paint comes. It comes in tubes like this. And I might add a little bit more to this. And I squeeze it out like this into the lid. I'm trying not to get the blue on it. I squeeze it out like this into the lid. And then it hardens a little before I send it out with you guys. But if we were doing it all together, we would just squeeze it out right when you were going to work on it, and then it would be softer. Okay, I'm going to stir this up, and it's kind of going to turn green because of the blue that was already in the bottom of the lid. See that kind of green color? I'm going to add a little more water. Let's see what comes. I'm loosening up that yellow paint. See, I have some right on there. Trying to get it all stirred up. Okay, now let's see how that goes. Okay, I'm going to squeeze the bulb, put it in the paint, let go to get some paint in my thing, and then we're going to do some more dropping. And you just do drops all over the place. And again, if you feel like there's too much pooled up in one spot, you can either try to spread it out a little bit, or you can use a paper towel to soak it up. Put a little bit more water in here and stir it up, because you saw those chunks of yellow that were in there, right? Stir it up a little more. Squeeze the bulb, put it in, let go to get it into your thing. Let's see. Okay, and then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back in again with the purple or blue. It's actually more blue. So squeeze the bulb, put it in the paint. Whoops, I'll try that once more. Squeeze the bulb, put it in the paint, let go, and you end up with it in there. And we're going to squeeze it, and we're going to let it go. Let's try putting it some of the places where the other color is. And yeah, you can do it, as you saw right there, right on top of the other color. Let's do that in another spot so you can see. And it just spreads. Okay, so you would keep going until you have the whole thing covered with paint, and you would just let it dry. It doesn't take too long. You would leave it on the aluminum foil or wax paper or whatever you have. Okay, I'm running out of places to put things. Okay, so I'm going to move that out. Sorry, but that was just to show you. And now we have what it's like when it's finished. I did this one all in blue and purple. And the lighter color was blue, and I realized that you need to use maybe more of whatever the lighter color is to make it show up, because the darker color can overwhelm it. Now I'm going to do just what we did with the other. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half again, and then I'm going to fold it in thirds. You're just going to have to practice this a little bit to try and find the right spot for thirds, or you can get a grown-up to help you. Sometimes you have to try it a couple times. Okay, there's my thirds. Now let me see where I put my scissors. I've buried everything here. There it is. Okay, and I'm going to make another snowflake. And I'm going to do cuts just like we did before. Actually, I may do some kind of circle ones. So I cut my edges this time to see how that looks. And let's see what else. I can do kind of fancier shapes on this one because it's bigger. And again, you can try this just with regular white paper. Okay, now you can see this might happen to you sometimes. I didn't quite cut far enough, and so it didn't drop off. So I'm going to do it again a little bit till it drops off. There's the clock again. I'm just going to make that a little neater at the end. Can you see that? Okay, so that's like I said, I think we can do fancier shapes a little bit in this one because we have more room to do fancy shapes. Okay. I'm gonna do that there. What else do I want to do? I might even do a little one in between. Okay, now I want to work from this side. And you can just make up whatever you want for your cutting. Any kind of shapes you want. I always find working on things like this kind of relaxing. There's no right way and no wrong way, so that's always nice. Okay, so there's my finished cutting. Can you see that? I'm going to open it up. You have to be gentle because you don't want to rip it. And this, I'll put it on the white paper. This is how your snowflake ends up. It's very pretty. So you can take your shiny snowflakes and your colored snowflakes and decorate maybe a window or a door or whatever you want. You can put them on different colors. Like if I put that on dark blue, then the spaces in the snowflake would show up really well. So I hope you enjoyed our craft. You learned about lots of different things. We did the colored coffee filters 2 ways, one with marker and one with watercolor paint. And we did the other snowflakes with, this is actually origami paper. I do suggest you might want to start with just plain white paper and practice a little bit. Now I'll show you before we go. This is the one we tried with the markers, and it really came out nice. So you could definitely try that too. So in your kit, you'll have shiny paper, you'll have some of this coffee filter, you'll be getting some lids with some watercolor paint, and you will get one of these nifty things that are fun for all kinds of crafts. You'll need a scissors, and that's about it. And you'll need paper towel because you'll want to keep clean. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the snowflake craft. I like it very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.